Greetings, citizens of the internet. I'm Static Buzz, and we're back with another Diablo 4 build guide. I've only done one before. I'm really wondering if these are useful, especially when there's so many places out there that have builds. But this build I have not seen anyplace else. So if you've seen it, then let me know. But I've looked and I haven't seen it anywhere. So I call it the Bloody Emblamer build because I don't really know what else to call it. I'm going to go out and show you guys the gameplay loop. Hopefully I can find some mobs out in this Helltide without looking too hard. Let's jump off here. Thought I heard some over here. Really? There's none by the chest. That's odd. Alright. Oh, there we go. Alright, so basically I start the fight with my Blood Lance. And then I start creating corpses. Corpses are huge in this build because they help give us damage and also create blood orbs that we need to get more damage and to heal our minions. So what do I mean by that? Let's see if I can get a blood orb here. So you see that blood orb right there? As soon as I use my Blood Lance, another Blood Lance will come out of that. And that's because one of the legendaries I have. I'll show you guys all that when we're done. But also what that does is there's a skill that if you use a Blood Orb, it heals your minions for 30, 40%. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it heals your minions. So basically with this build, I go into a fight. I use Blood Lance to start it off. Get some corpses, start blowing them up, and then I get blood orbs around. I start shooting blood lances again, and while I'm shooting blood lances doing my main damage dealer, I'm healing up my minions. I will also sometimes start a fight with blood mist like that because it will create some corpses, which helps me get the fight going. And then it's just a perpetual blowing things up with corpse explosion and then blood lance to finish things off. Alright, so let's go into town so that I can be safe and show you guys the actual build. So I'm showing you guys this on the Eternal Realm because I don't have it completed on the season yet. It's a little easier on the season because the first legendary that you're going to want to get for this is part of the season pass or the seasonal journey, sorry. Level 1, tier 1, whatever you call it, the first one, you got to season journey part 1. Once you unlock that, you get this aspect and you can put it on your items at that point. Alright, so anyways, let's go over the equipment real quick. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about the aspect that you get for unlocking it in the season. Right here. Casting Blood Lance will consume blood orbs that also conjure lances from them. Each additional Blood Lance deals 50% of normal damage and prior towards target unlanced. And why unlanced is important is another legendary that we have that does more damage based off of... You'll see. Distant enemies have a 4% chance to be stunned. This is one of those ones that you can play with. You can do whatever you want here. Blood Lance deals 15% increased damage to primary targets per lanced enemy. So, as soon as you hit, say you have 2 blood orbs and you hit a target with your Blood Lance, they're going to shoot off at another 2 targets, hopefully, that aren't Blood Lanced. So then you're going to start getting more damage the more blood lances you use because you have 3 targets blood lanced, if that makes sense. Alright, skills deal up to 10%. This is another one you could play with. I had a Blood Surge one on here, so I just threw this on here because I wasn't using Blood Surge anymore. This is the reason why I'm not showing you on the season character. Consume a Corpse has a 44% chance to spawn a blood orb. I don't have this on my seasonal character yet. If I did, I would be showing you it on there. This is key in this build. You kill things, they create a corpse, you blow the corpse up, you have almost a 50% chance of getting a blood orb, and it just perpetuates the cycle of corpse explosion, blood blood spear, damage, 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 damage. All right, then we're gonna go here. While you have 7 or more minion, you gain damage reduction. Damage reduction is huge for a necromancer. You don't want to be dying every 5 seconds to big damage. And I can run on World Tier 4 even though I'm a level 65, except for there's certain things that one shot you and they do a lot of damage, like with one shot. I'm still squishy, so I die with them, especially because it's level 75. There's that 10 level gap, and if you don't know how the levels work, for anything that's higher than you, they will do more damage to you than if you were equal level with them per level that they're higher than you. So 10 levels, which is tier 4, is quite a bit. And also you do less damage. So I can still kill them if I avoid getting one shot from those particular mobs, but it's not really worth it because I can go through like all the normal mobs no problem, and then I'll get one of those and they'll one shot me and boom, I'm done, and I gotta start over, especially in a Helltide where I'm trying to gather up the crystals so that I can unlock chests. It's just not worth it. But at 65 I can survive in World Tier 4, and then in a party I ran Nightmare Dungeons with them and not really had too many issues as long as I'm not up front. Alright, enough of that rambling. Alright, when you pick up a blood orb, it's 5 blood orbs. A free bone spirit is spawned, dealing damage based on your... This is another one that I just don't have a better item, but I don't know if you saw it when I was fighting and I was throwing the blood spears and it was absorbing the orbs. Every time I got 5 of those, bone spirit would go across the screen and attack something. So it's an okay thing if you want to use it for extra damage, because bone spirits do some decent damage, but I just haven't found anything to replace it. Alright, this one is also another one that I think it's not totally key, but it does help your damage. Because if you're blowing up corpses and there's nothing around them, you're not going to benefit unless you have this. So instead of detonating immediately, Corpse Explosion summons a volatile skeleton that charges at random enemies and explodes. So if you were watching while I was doing Corpse Explosion, a skeleton would come up and run towards a target, right? That's what this does. And it also increases the damage of Corpse Explosion by 34%. So this one is a unique. It drops in World Tier 3. I don't have this on my seasonal character yet, so yeah, another reason why I'm not really showing you the build there. Basic skills grant 20% damage reduction, so every time I use my, hemorrhage, then I get 20% damage reduction, which does help. Your maximum number of skeleton warriors increased by 2. I would prefer to have more mages, to be honest with you. And I did at one point, but I had to replace something, and I haven't got the aspect for that one yet to put on something else. But I would swap this out with mages, and I had one that had 3 extra mages, so that I had 6 mages. And the reason why I would swap them out is because they have some crowd control in that they chill enemies, and that does help. All right, so that is the legendary items. Book of the Dead is, I sacrifice my golem. I get 30% increased critical strike damage for doing the iron golem. You can use the other ones. I just don't find 10% extra life or 10% increased attack speed as beneficial as the 30% increased critical strike damage. Totally your choice. Like I said, there's a lot of play in this build. As for Paragon points, I don't know if I would do this the same way again. Obviously, this first one is you can't really play around with much. But the second board, I did a damage reduction board. And I don't know, I think that is beneficial because you are really squishy. And this one helped me survive a lot, especially running World Tier 4 in my high 50s with a group, I needed some damage reduction. But this is where the second board comes into play. I'm increasing the damage of my minions here, and that is why I chose this one. So this is the, I don't remember the name of this one. Is it the Puppeteer? It might be the Puppeteer based off of this one, or where's the legendary one? Cult Leader. This is the legendary one. So your minions deal 15% increased damage for each minion type you have active. So they're doing 30% extra damage. If I had a Golem, then it would be more. Now you could have a Golem. I will explain why when I go over the actual abilities. Because, to be honest with you, this is not probably totally optimal the way I have it. There is one skill that you could swap out for something else if you wanted very easily and not really be affected. Alright, so let's go over the abilities since we're already talking about them. So we have Hemorrhage, and on Hemorrhage we have the Fortify. Also, Hemorrhage has a chance of creating blood orbs. So basically this one here is, if I have no blood orbs on the field, I don't have a corpse available to explode, I don't have my blood mist, I use this to try to get essence and to create blood orbs. That's what this is for. You could take this down to 1. It's not really a damage dealer. I just didn't have any other place to put my points that I thought was beneficial. This here is the main damage dealer of, well, I think that I have 2 damage dealers in this one, this and Corpse Explosion, but this one might be more. Maybe not, because I think the Corpse Explosion does 7,000 something, but they work well in tandem with the way the legendaries are set up. But anyways, so I have it this way, and I have the overpower every time, the 6th time your next Blood Lance is guaranteed overpower and spawn. So every 7 you will get a overpowered Blood Lance, and you could switch it over to this attack speed and reduce cost. I haven't really played with it. I don't think this is too critical. You can go either or. And then we're gonna go down here. We have Blood Mist. This is our get out of jail free card. I gotta learn how to talk. And also, I sometimes use this to start a fight if I run into a crowd or a boss fight, and I'm not going to be able to create corpses like right off the bat. I will use this to give me some corpses, because every 1 second, Blood Mist leaves behind a corpse. Blood Mist lasts for 3 seconds, so you should get 3 corpses out of that, which will get you started on using your Corpse Explosion, which will then again create your blood orbs, which then lets you use your Blood Lance at a better as a better option than Corpse Explosion. So yeah, you saw the playstyle. This is key here, because consuming corpse generates 6 essence. If you don't have this, your essence is going to be lacking. I use Blood Lance till I use up half or so of my essence and create some corpses, and then I use Corpse Explosion until I get my essence to full. Then I use Blood Lance, and then I use Corpse Explosion. You see how it kind of flows back and forth between the two, but without this it wouldn't work. Close enemies take 6% more damage from you and deal 9% less. Your squishy Necro, every kind of damage reduction you get helps. Increasing the life of your skeletal mages is important. I also have my skeletal warriors is important. I can't really speak on how important it is with the play style, because I had this in place with my previous summoning build and they were dying repeatedly. So this might be critical, might not be. You can play with it at your own discretion. This here is definitely key. I have 1 point in here just so that I can get to this. This is what keeps your minions alive. Blood Orbs also heals your minions for 60% of the amount. I couldn't remember if it was 60 or 30 or 40 before. I hope I didn't misspeak, but it's 60%. Alright, so in here we have when a corpse is formed from your skill, your minions fortify you for 6% of your base life. This is more damage. I shouldn't say damage reduction. It's more life in essence that you can survive longer. All right. Increased damage reduction by 18%, reduced by each minion type, 2% for each active minion. Oh, not for type, for each minion. So, the more minions you have, if I had 6 more or 3 more blood mages, I would get another 6% more damage reduction, which is huge. That's why I want to get that one again. And I also think I can get, instead of the 2 warriors, I think I can get a 3 one. I don't know for sure, but that's something that you should also watch for. I only have 1 point into this because this is not what I use to heal my minion. It's all about the blood orbs. Your minions cannot lose more than 30% of their maximum life. I think this is very important to keep them alive because they could take at least 4 hits before they die. Now, this is where I'm not 100% sure what I should be using as my ultimate, or if I should even be using an ultimate. But I use this with my previous build because if on the off chance my minions do die, I have a way of bringing them all back, which for any summoning Necro build is very important. But my minions don't really die that much, and I have, if they do die, it's 1 or 2 of them, which if there's 2 corpses, I can bring them back pretty easily. I can't speak on anything past like level 70. Well, we were doing probably equivalent to level 78 Nightmare dungeons with the group, and I would lose minion here and there, but not, maybe like 2 or 3 times in a Nightmare dungeon where I was running with another Necro that didn't have this build. He was using the dot build, and he was losing like all of his minions like 2 times every run. So just keep that in mind. You have some play here. You could use Blood Wave if you want, so that you could get some extra damage, and it also creates blood orbs. So I've thought about switching over to this. Somebody wants to try and let me know how it goes, that would be great. Alright, and here is where I'm also not 100% sure what I should be using. These 2 are obviously out. We're not doing shadow damage or bone damage, but I have this where I increase my maximum life by 10% after being healthy for 12 seconds. The next blood skill overpowers. I'm using a lot of blood skills. I think this is beneficial. I mean, you get 10% extra life right off the bat, so that's beneficial, but I don't know how often the effect comes into play. 12 seconds does seem to be a long time, and if you don't have that between fights, then maybe not. So I've actually thought about switching over to this, where if I don't take damage for 2 seconds, my minions gain attack speed. And if you have at least 7 minions, this is doubled, so I would get 30% attack speed. So I don't know, it's kind of questionable on this one. But anyways, that's the build in a nutshell. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any comments or critiques, then please let me know in the comments. I don't normally do this type of video, so if you have suggestions on how I can make it better, let me know. Anyways, until next video, take care. Bye-bye now. Static Buzz out. I got more Paragon points. Where was I heading? Over here? Yeah.